What's up, people? Let's go through our notes here on comparison of adverbs. You'll notice that the first two slides are review. In stages 21 and 22, the book presents forming adverbs from adjectives, and it's kind of been a stage since we talked about it, since I taught both of the different sides of it, the two ways of doing it, back in stage 21. So I actually included with this all of the questions from then because it's been essentially a whole stage in between. But let's go through the basics here. Unlike adjectives, adverbs modify adjectives, verbs, or other adverbs. Again, my middle school English teacher, I remember her saying that you could just use the word adverb to remember what they modify, what they describe, give more information about adjectives, verbs, and other adverbs. So for example, for an example of an adverb describing an adjective, it's I'm extremely happy. You're giving the degree to which you are happy an adjective. She sang sweetly. Sweetly is the adverb giving more information about the manner in which she sang, a verb. And he performed exceptionally well. All right. Well is an adverb that tells about the performance, like number two, but exceptionally tells you the degree to which you did so well. So it's an adverb describing an adverb. So notice that very often adverbs in English end in ly. So regular adverbs in English will do that. Now in Latin, adverbs, just like English, can be formed from adjectives. It's like you take a word like exceptional, add a ly, it becomes an adverb. It describes adjectives, verbs, or other adverbs. Latin does kind of the same thing with endings. So first and second declension adjectives, that is ones that use endings like us, am, for example, the ending will be e. Third declension adjectives, so ones that use endings like ebus, es, is, em, will use ter. So, for example, we have the adjective lightus, all right, means happy. Caler even ends in an er, means quick. But notice how these change. When you make lightus lite, it means happily. When you say celeriter, it means quickly. So pretty much, if you see a word that's usually an adjective, instead of having, like I said, a us, a an am, on one side, and then em, ebus, es, and so forth on the other, and they end in e or ter, just add an ly. So regular adverbs are formed like this. Now, this stage, we're learning comparison of adverbs. That means we're adding the comparative and superlative degrees to it. So the e and the ter thing that we've seen so far has only been, for the most part, with the positive or the regular degree of adverbs. But the comparative and superlative degrees of adverbs are formed in this way. Superlative adverbs will end in issime or erime. So this is kind of like just taking one step further than what we've seen with superlatives all the way back in Latin 1. Issim and erim mean est or very, but when it's issime or erime, it's going to be most or very, whateverly. All right. So one of the things to take away from this is, just like first and second declension adverbs, like lightus on the previous slide, will end in e. That issemus and erimus, they are first and second declension adjectives, and so you're just changing that us to e, like we did lightus to lite. All right, now instead of lightissimus, which is very happy, lightissime is very happily. Celerime, all right, so celerimus would be very quick. Celerime is very quickly. Now, comparative adverbs are a little bit different from comparative adjectives. Comparative adverbs will end in ius. We know that ior is er or more. So IOR is out of the picture when it comes to adverbs. You're going to see IUS on the end. So instead of seeing litior, litiores, litiorem for ER or more, litius, all right, means more happily. So whereas the superlative is kind of consistent with what we've had been talking about for a long time now about the superlative degree with ism or arum. The IOR that we've become very accustomed to with comparatives, it'll be IUS when it's more whatever ly. Again, calarius is more quickly, whereas calarior, calariorum, calariores, calarioribus would just be quicker, for example. Many very common adjectives and adverbs form their comparative and superlative forms irregularly. And don't just blame Latin for this. English does it too. You may remember I did an exercise with adverbs back in stage 21 where I put up a number of words like happy becomes happily, drastic becomes drastically. And then I put up the word good. And yes, a few of our bright lights put goodly because you're just following the pattern, but we don't say you did goodly on something. We say you did well. What does the word WELL have to do with the other word GOOD? It's an irregular form of the adjective. You did a good job or you performed well. Notice the difference there. So on page 44 in our book is the chart of the most common forms. I don't really present it in this video. I don't present it in the slides. I'm just sending you to page 44, and you just got to know what those forms mean. Some of them, though, you have seen before. And the way I kind of help you remember which one is which is use derivatives to help you remember these forms. So I know this looks like a lot, but for example, benefit, all right, comes from bene, which means well. To ameliorate, to improve something is from melius, which means better. And optimist, a word we've been seeing for a long time now, optime means very well. So we have all of these derivatives. And I encourage you to connect these derivatives and their meanings to the irregular adverb forms. We'll do a bell ringer and an exercise with this to try to make that connection a little bit more formal. But at the end of the day, the chart on page 44, just get used to words like peius and melius and maxime and so forth that are just the irregular comparisons, just as irregular in Latin as, good changing to well, GOOD, the adjective, changing to WELL, the adverb form of the same word, essentially.